and welcome to the first episode of Business Unhinged podcast. Today, I'm with a wonderful, wonderful guest named Stefanie. She is an awesome high performance coach, and I'm so excited to just really dive into everything that she has to offer. So take it away, Stefanie. Tell us all about you.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here. So I have been an entrepreneur, a business owner for almost 13 years, and I really I always say I never felt like I truly fit into the normal. I never fit into society's trajectory of the graduate high school, go to college, get the degree, get the perfect job, right? But I fell into it. Even though I felt like I didn't belong, I still fell into it because of upbringing, because of what people told me was the right way, the only way I was going to be successful. And I went back and got my master's degree, and I got the quote unquote perfect job. And I almost immediately realized that I didn't fit there. It wasn't me. It didn't feel good. I just did not feel seen. I did not feel heard. I did not feel validated in who I truly was, but I could never figure it out. I could never figure out what the missing piece was. And within that time frame, about the 2 months that I was at that job, maybe a little bit longer, my dad was diagnosed early onset Alzheimer's. And that was kind of the pivotal moment for me to realize I don't have all the time in the world to just sit back and do life the way that everybody else taught me to do it, the way that feels good on paper, that looks good on paper, right? But feels so exhausting and emotionally just frustrating to me. And so I decided to leave that job. I left it because I wanted to be with my dad through his journey of this disease, and I wanted to be there for him. And then, fast forward 10 years of building that business, I realized after losing my dad, kind of a full circle, 10 years, I lost my dad in this January. And I again realized that I had fallen into the trap in my business of doing things that everybody else said in the way that everybody else said to do. I was exhausted. I was frustrated. Yes, I had the success, but it didn't feel good. It felt empty. I was helping every single person on my team in the same way. And so that business crumbled. It was ripped out from under me. And I know now there was a reason for it. And so that's when human design entered the picture. I also am certified high performance coach, but human design was really the catalyst to transform my life and my business and my clients' business. And so when I discovered human design and I started to read my own, I couldn't hold back tears. I felt so heard and seen and validated. And I know now why I never felt like I fit into the normal, because I'm far from the normal, and we all are. And it's time that we realize that, because we're all meant to work, to show up, to lead, to just move through life in a whole different way than the person next to us. And until we understand that and learn how to self-lead, we will struggle in our business.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And that's why I really wanted to title this episode, Who Were You Designed to Be? Right. And because I know that that's what you specialize in. So what was that moment? Like, was there something that happened that kind of made you think like, shit, I don't think I was designed to be this. Like, this isn't it for me.
Yeah.
Was there like a turning point that was like kind of problematic or hard or anything like that?
I think it was just really waking up to the fact that I was walking through life exhausted, frustrated, overwhelmed, taking it out on my kids, taking it out on my husband, and but knowing there was something more, knowing that there was something that I was here to do that was different. And I couldn't figure it out because I was following all the strategies, all the, viral trends, all the to-dos that all of the people that were successful in this online space, the business space, said to do, but nothing felt good to me because it wasn't me. They were successful with that because that was them. And it was the moment that I read my design, when I realized that, because I am a 3-5 manifesting generator, and I am not meant for the linear line. I am not meant to do things in the normal trajectory. I'm meant to, with the 3-5 profile, I'm meant to pivot and fall down a lot and fail, get back up, and really just shout from the rooftop what actually works, which is what I believe is human design and why I'm here. And so when I realized that, as a 3-5 manifesting generator, each day is not supposed to look the same. And that's how I had built my business. Each day was the exact same. I did checklists. I did, like a generator would do. And I was fighting against my design. And when we do that, we are overwhelmed and frustrated and resentful of our business.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. For the listeners who may not be familiar with human design, can you explain it to us in layman terms?
Yeah. So human design is first of all, let me talk about what it's not, because there's a huge misconception out there that it's another personality test, right? Like Enneagram or Strengths Finders or Myers-Briggs, something like that. And it's not the same, because those are answered from a conditioned mind. Those are answered from a mind that has been through trauma, upbringing, societal conditioning. So when you get to the end of, let's say, your Enneagram test and you read your results, is it really you, or is it the conditioned you? And, a lot of my clients come to me and they have to really decondition from society and from upbringing, their parents, their, people around them, in order to fully live through their design. But human design it was created by a gentleman named Ra Uru. I believe he was a manifester in human design. And he really had the vision and the desire to create this system that is based on lots of modalities, lots of ancient modalities. And it is really generated from exact time, place, and date that you are born, and 3 months prior to that. And that is what your human design is made of. And I mean, there's so many nuances within it. It's kind of the overarching themes of the energy types and your authority, which we can talk a little bit about. But everybody is so uniquely gifted and has a specific life's purpose. And I always say that this was a gift from the universe, from God, from whoever, to really help us step into what we are here for, because we've gotten lost as society.
Yeah, wow. It was probably 2021, the first time I heard of human design. And I was kind of going through a process of leaving behind religion and coming into spirituality. I was learning more about astrology and becoming more open to different types of things. And I came across human design and I thought, oh, this is cool. And I took the free test online or whatever. And if you guys want to get your free HD report, make sure you check the description on this video and go over to Stefanie's website.
Yeah.
And so, I did my free report and I was like, oh, projector, that sounds cool, but what am I projecting? That doesn't sound so great, And so I understand a little bit, not a ton, and maybe I'll get a chance to ask you some of my questions here today. But I remember feeling so open to this new way of thinking about myself, because I think as much as we can learn about ourselves, it helps us set ourselves up for success. So I guess my first question to you is, I know in human design there are different energy types. Do you care to talk about the different energy types and how they differentiate from each other and how that works in business?
Sure. So there's 5 different energy types. We'll start with the generators. The generators are what I call the life force of the world if they are aligned. Generators are here to really do what they love and love what they do. They can be in a corporate job as long as they love it. If they are someone who is let's say in a corporate job or in a business that you don't love, then you will be constantly overwhelmed, frustrated. Frustration is the shadow side of a generator, and it bleeds out into everybody that you are around, because you have such an open aura as a generator. People need you to light up so they can light up also. So when you have talking about your business, if you are doing the tasks in your business that you don't love, then you will struggle to find success as a generator, because you are misaligned. If you are doing, the processes, the step-by-step processes, because you as a generator are more step-by-step. You are an energy being, you have lots of energy. As long as you're doing something you love, you need to expend all of that energy so you can sleep well at night. But as a generator in business, it's very important for you to find things that aren't viral or someone else said to do, but it has to be something that you love, because And you might think that should be for everybody, right? Everybody should do what they love. But for generators, that is the key to your success. The more you can find something or a little piece of something that you love every day, the more you're going to be able to bring in everything else that you desire. If you are working a corporate job or doing a business that you really don't have joy in, then you will block off anything that needs to come to you. Okay. So that's a generator. Energy being lots of energy. You probably feel like you can say yes to everything even when it doesn't feel good. So that's something that you need to really be mindful of, is collaborations that don't feel good, or other things in your business that you're invited to do. If it doesn't feel good to you, then you need to say no, or you will be drained. Okay. So as a manifesting generator, you are very quick, very fast paced, skipping steps. You pivot a lot. You're kind of here to just show people that there doesn't have to be a linear process if it doesn't feel good to you. You're here to show everybody that you can fall down and get back up thousands of times, right? It doesn't always take thousands of times, but you have to be okay. The thing with manifesting generators is oftentimes we feel like we are flaky, or that we can't finish anything because we are not. Oh,
You're fine, Stefanie.
okay. Okay. Because we are not meant to finish anything. We are not meant to finish anything if it doesn't feel good to us. So the minute something stops to feel good, we pivot and we move on quickly. And the generators are more step by step. So that's a manifesting generator. In a business, don't feel bad if you do a podcast and you also do, this on the side, and you do this on the side, and you do this on the side. That is a manifesting generator. Like, that is okay. So don't be put in a box, which I put myself in for 10 years of my first business. I can only do it this way. I can only do it that way. And that was fighting against my design. As a projector, you are the seer and the teacher, and you see people and you see systems better than they can see themselves. So you are really here to guide and to lead and to, not do all the doing, right? If you have a business, it's very strongly encouraged that you collaborate with a generator or a manifesting generator, because you work a lot more efficiently in the 2 to 4 hours you're supposed to work throughout the day on one specific thing, but you don't have the energy to work like the energy beings do. And, taking naps is normal for you. Don't let yourself feel bad about it. And really just, you also are someone that needs to be seen and validated more than other people, which isn't a bad thing. So just making sure you surround yourself with people who know that about you, that, can see that you're genius in something, that can really shout it from the rooftops and just say, wow, you are so good at this. Because you have this deep knowing and this deep, just, you have a penetrating aura, and you really see people better than they see themselves. And that's why you mentioned earlier, I have a lot of clients who are projectors. I don't know why, but I attract projectors, and they will say to me oftentimes, they have a big business event where they go to, and there's a lot of energy around those places, right? And they get home or they get back to their hotel and they feel hungover, even if they haven't drank anything or anything like that, but they feel like their energy is completely depleted. And that is because you can walk into a room and feel energy. You take on energy. So you have to learn to rest and not feel bad about it. Okay, manifestors. Manifestors are here to initiate. They are not here to complete. They are here to initiate. They work really well, again, with manifesting generators and generators. They have the spark, and they have more of a closed off aura. They can seem, what's the word? They can seem off-putting to people, but they are so amazing. They are so powerful, and they also work in bursts. So they might have this idea and run with it super quick and work on it, and then they need to crash for a day or two. And so it's just, initiators are here to get things up off the ground. Maybe that's a new business idea. Maybe that's a new idea inside of your business that you've never heard before, because it's initiating something that has never been done. that's super powerful. So that is a manifester. Reflectors are the um the least common. They are 1% of the population, and they really can reflect back onto you. So they can see things from really high up and see what's missing, what's going on, what needs to be fixed. So they really know how to reflect all of the struggles in your business, or what really. That's why it's important to have a reflector, if you can kind of look over your business and see where the holes are, because they can really, that high level, they are very, very like smart and just can see those types of things. So let me know if that answered your question, but I think that is a pretty good overview of the types.
Yeah, it was. And I feel like you made it so much easier to understand than me trying to go on Jovial Archives and dive deep and trying to understand, like, oh, what is this new way of thinking about myself? And I know that beyond energy type, I know very little. I'm no expert, but I know a little teensy bit about enough to ask you questions. And so I know that there's energy type. And then the next thing that comes into place is, I believe, your place of authority. Is that correct?
Yeah, authority. I have a self-paced course, and I always tell people in that course multiple times that if you struggle with any part of your design, go back to your authority, because that is, if you follow that and trust that, that is when everything else will start to make sense. So yes, authority is, there's several different ones, but I will explain what mine is. The authority is essentially how you're supposed to make decisions. Okay, so I'll give you a couple, because it's easy to feel like, well, yeah, everybody should make decisions like that. But for me, mine is sacral authority, which means that I am supposed to listen to my gut. I'm supposed to shut out external influences, external ideas, thoughts, opinions. I'm supposed to go internal, listen to my gut, yes or no, make the decision and go. So it's really, but we have been taught to bypass that, right? We have been taught to know that that's not what we're told. We're not educated that way. We are supposed to do what they say. We're supposed to do what, that's how we get into the people pleasing mode. And we have completely bypassed our authority. And so when it takes a little bit for my clients to find their way back to it, but once they do, everything shifts and everything comes into motion for them in business and life and relationships. So mine is sacral. There's also emotional authority, which is very common. I have a client right now that she's sacral authority, and the rest of her family, which is like 5 kids and her spouse, are emotional authority. So she really needs to understand this about them. And that's the importance of understanding your family as well. But emotional authority, you're not supposed to make big decisions until your emotional highs and lows have completed. So let's say you are asked to collaborate with someone on a business idea, and you initially are like, oh my gosh, yes, that sounds so amazing. I can't, let's do it. You're meant to just wait it out, wait for the next day, see how you feel tomorrow. Because a lot of times when you bypass that emotional authority and you are emotional authority, you will regret it, and you will really look back and be like, I wish I wouldn't have said yes. So it's really listening to that. There's lunar authority, where you are supposed to wait 28 days to make a really big decision. So lots of different ones, but those are the most common ones that I see.
So me, I am a splenic authority,
So
and
you are
from my
instinctual.
understanding, I'm supposed to follow my intuition.
Yep.
And
So
go ahead.
yeah, go
No.
ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that once I heard that, once I read that in black and white, it was almost like my entire existence just kind of made sense, because
Mhm.
I will often make decisions or choose something that isn't necessarily from a logical place. I'm very analytical as a Virgo sun, but it's because it's what my intuition said for me to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just was pulled so strongly in that direction.
Yeah, and I think for a splenic and sacral authority, right? Like, a lot of our decisions, if we listen to our authority, aren't logical, because it's not what we have been taught. It's not what the person next to us would do or say. But yeah, splenic is very instinctual as far as what's safe, what's not. It's more of like going down the street and you get this like hit, because Splenic authority is very quick. Like it's very quiet, very quick. You get a hit and it's gone. So it's like turn left here instead of turning right. And you just do that. Right. So it takes a little bit to learn that part to connect with that, because again, we have been, and that is why I do what I do, because we are a conditioned society that have completely bypassed our own design. And I want to help as many people as I can get back to it so we can move on in a positive way as society and not be so in the struggle bus. And, I always say when I talk to people, and you say, how are you doing? Everybody's always like, I'm so exhausted, overwhelmed, or I have 50 things to do. And that's not normal.
Right.
It's not normal, but we have taken it on as normal, and we've taken it on as almost a badge of honor. And I just want to be done with that for people.
Yeah, it's such a toxic way of living and approaching life. And I think like you helping people get back to the rhythm of how we are supposed to be, who we were designed to be, is so beautiful. I know that as far as like the basics of human design and how we start to think about how we apply it to our work and business, there are two other areas that have to be considered, maybe the undefined and defined, and the profiles. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that'll impact our business?
So yeah, and I mean, there's honestly probably 10 other areas that will impact your business. So that's, when I do one-on-one work with my business people, it's different. I mean, I don't have packages where it's like, this is exactly what you get, because I don't know what you need. I don't know what your design says yet. So we go in deep, but there is one in particular piece is my favorite, and it's called your Vibe of Tribe. And it literally tells you who you are meant to help, what they need to hear from you, and how you can see them. Like you see them best, which is I see line one's best, which is very interesting because I'm a 3-5. So I've had to really learn the 3-5 line and the line ones for my clients, but so that the Vibe Tribe is a really important one. And then yes, you have 9 centers in your body graph. So whenever people get their free body graph from me and they look at it, it's like it looks gibberish, right? You're like, what the heck is this? And that's why you have to click the PDF download to get my PDF. And then I have an audio report that you can listen to as well for free. But it's just you have to be okay with not knowing everything at first, right?
Yeah.
So you have your 9 designs, and you have open centers, closed centers, defined centers, undefined centers, and it all relates back to, for instance, if you have a defined center, then that particular center and what that stands for, what that contributes to in your life, you have it within yourself at all times, whether you're using it for good or for bad. That's a work we do together, but you have it within you, easy access. Now, if it's undefined, then that means you need to go out into society, into collaborations, talking about things in order to get more inspiration or more world views from that to bring that in. So, again, it's very individual based. So I don't like to go into a whole lot about it to confuse people, but it's so powerful once you get to know it. And the other very powerful piece is your environment. It tells you what environment you thrive in best, which is key. And they're called like caves and valleys. You're not meant to live in a cave, right? But it's just kind of explains what and how you thrive, because I have some corporate clients who thrive more at home than they do in the corporate office, and it's good to know that. So
Yeah, wow. This is such amazing, because I never even thought about like the environment I'm in, because there's definitely been times where I've tried to, like, actually one of the last jobs I had in corporate America, and I have a astrologer friend who did an astrocartography reading, and she told me, she's like, I don't think you're going to do well in California in a job. You need to do your own business. And I was like, well, I already accepted it. Like, I guess I'm going to try.
yeah,
She ended up being right, because it was the wrong environment for me.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and like I almost wish I would have had that more specific information going in. But I think that as business people, or as the industry used to be, things come from this really like evidence based, which it should, sciencey type place, show me the numbers. But I think that there's a lot of validity into some of these ancient practices that we've forgotten. And
Mhm.
I love that this is your work that you have given your life to do, to help people reconnect with this and so that they can thrive. And so my question to you is, what types of results do people see when they start to apply their human design to their life and to their business?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I can't even explain the let's start with life. So, because the life for me, I feel like is the most important piece because that will bleed into your business. Um, I guess, and vice versa, but relationships. For instance, I can think about one of my clients who is a projector and her husband's a generator. That's completely different.
Yeah.
And they needed to understand each other to get on the same page, to get on a better page in their marriage. And knowing my daughter now as a projector, I get her so much because she's so different than me. And I always thought I was doing something wrong. You follow the parenting books and you follow the marriage books, and they are written for, assuming that we're all the same, and we're
Yeah.
not. And so, the relationships piece, in business, it's just the joy and the passion, and your your design actually tells you your life's purpose slash your core four. And so inputting that into your business is transformative. I mean, my last client that I worked with, our 6 weeks ended a couple weeks ago, and she has seen sales go up in her business because she is speaking the way her design tells her to speak. She is following her authority, which is a projector. You're supposed to wait for the invitation. And again, in my first business, I was treating everybody the same, and no wonder the projector struggled to find the success. And then, so, sales go up, the results go up, the love, the joy, the passion, the peace goes up, the validation of yourself goes up. You don't For me, it was hard for me to get out there and share my business because it was so different. It was None of my friends and family are entrepreneurs, and that was hard for me in the beginning. But now that I know this is my purpose, this is like literally how I'm meant to move and work as a manifesting generator, I don't feel as bad about it anymore. I just shout it from the rooftop. So it's self-love, it's self-leadership. It's really everything. And I think that knowing yourself is the best gift that you can give to yourself and your family, because my husband is a generator. He knows that I skip steps now and that I'm all over the place. And he's used to think that, gosh, like, let's calm down. But that's now he understands. So
Yeah. I really loved what you said. Deeply knowing yourself is the best gift that you can give yourself.
yeah.
And I think when we come up as children, that's not even a conversation that is had. It's you sit here, you do this, you
Yep.
follow, you follow the instructions you are given. You go through life like this, almost like a conveyor belt.
Mhm.
And you hopped off the conveyor belt and said, "Hey, we are not a one size fit all kind of type of people. We're individuals, and
Yeah.
we need to treat each other like that." And I love that your entire business model and how you help people in their businesses is built on this. So I would love for you to tell people here as we wrap up, like, how it is that they can get in touch with you, what you have to offer for them, and just about your work.
Yeah. So first of all, I really want to end this by just saying that it's okay if you feel like you are not in the right place. It's okay if you have all the quote unquote success and you still feel like you don't fit in, or you feel like it's not enough, because that's you fighting against your design. That's your design waking up and, really showing you that it's here and it's ready to talk. And there is something called the new era that is starting right now. It's going to be completely shifted by 2027. But if you feel like things are shifting, if you are into human design and really getting to know yourself and really kind of getting out of societal conditioning, then you have felt this, that education systems are breaking down, political systems are breaking down, healthcare systems are breaking down because we can't go on this way. It's coming to the individual now. We have to know ourselves in order to play our part in this time we're here, right? And so we're coming home to that. So yes, I help really everybody across the board, individuals, relationship partners, corporate teams, business owners, people just wanting to find joy and purpose. Again, I help a lot of women who are in their 60s that just are like, what now? Like I did all this and I don't feel good. I have a client who has said that her daughter mentioned something to her about um, seeing that she didn't love her jobs while they were growing up. And so just we don't have to live like that anymore. We can do what we're meant to do, how we're meant to do it. So I have an unlearning self-paced course where it's like a self-paced self-study course of you and anybody in your family, honestly. And then I have a deep dive readings that are one-on-one. And then I also have coaching that can help you integrate this into your business, into your life in every area. And then I have a corporate offer for teams who are ready to work better together to really find that success and eliminate the frustration, the burnout, and the quitting that is so rampant right now. So that's me in a nutshell. But you can start by getting your human design chart at stefcarlstead.com/HD report. And I think she'll put it in the show notes, but that is your design. And then I have a private podcast that I just created that's 5 episodes. It's free private podcast. It really dives into exactly why human design, what it is, and how it can transform your life. So would love to see you in there as well. I'll give that link to you for the show notes as well. But thank you for having me.
Yes, Stefanie, thank you so much for talking about this because, I came across this concept on Instagram back during the pandemic and I thought, wow, how cool, because it was so relative to astrology in the sense that like the birth time and the birthday, and like this very specific chart that is yours. It felt like I don't know if there's any two charts that are the same, I don't know
No.
how that works out because there's all the gates and that stuff blows my mind. So the fact that like you have this upper level knowledge of how all of this works, I love that. But one of the things that was pivotal for me when I heard about this was we talked about this, how projectors are often seen as lazy because we get so exhausted by the grind that others that the manifestors can do. But someone said to me, or something I did, some sort of human design thing I found, it said projectors, when you consider yourself successful and you show up like the success is already yours, the success follows.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting to be successful. I haven't showed up. I haven't embodied the success. And that's why it's not coming in for me.
Yeah.
And that was a major breakthrough for me.
Yes.
Like the only person who was going to validate me, I was waiting for that external validation. I was waiting for those invitations, right? But the first person who had to validate me had to be me.
Yep.
Or I'm never going to get that validation from the outside.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh, that's like that in itself was such a breakthrough moment in my life that I know that there's value in what you do. And everyone run over right now, get your free HD report. The link is in the description here on YouTube. You can also go to Stefanie's website to see how you can work with her. Definitely work with her. And we're so excited that she was our first guest here on Business Unhinged. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.